Grand Theft 5 is easily one of the most legendary and unforgettable games ever created. No debate about that. After sinking nearly 5,000 hours into this single map over the last 12 years, I've reached a point where I can move through it almost instinctively. No GPS, no hesitation, just pure memory and experience. Los Santos feels alive in a way most game cities never do. And I'm confident saying it stands as one of the greatest open-world cities ever designed. But here's where things start to shift. Los Santos is just one part of the map, sitting down there at the bottom like the main attraction. So what about everything else? That's where things get shaky, and honestly, not in a good way. So why does the rest of GTA 5's map feel so underwhelming, especially when you stack it up against older GTA games? And here's the twist that makes this even more interesting. We're going to break down what we know about GTA 6's map and how it might actually fix this exact problem. But before calling anything out, let's give credit where it's due. Los Santos is based on Los Angeles, California, and turning a real-world city into a playable map isn't easy at all. Yet Rockstar absolutely nailed it. Every section of the city hits different, from the winding roads cutting through Vinewood Hills to the flashy, rich energy of Vinewood and Rockford, clearly inspired by Hollywood and Beverly Hills. Then you've got Vespucci canals bringing that Venice vibe with tight corners and clean water reflections. And on the flip side, Davis brings that raw, gritty energy, clearly mirroring Compton. It's crazy how every district carries its own identity, its own atmosphere, its own feeling. I could keep naming locations all day, but the point is simple. No matter where you are in Los Santos, there's always something happening, always something to see, always something pulling your attention. Even after all these years, the city itself doesn't get boring. Now here's where the real issue starts to show itself. The second you leave Los Santos, everything changes, and not in a good way. To really understand this, we need to look back at older GTA maps like GTA 4 and San Andreas. And yeah, San Andreas might be older, but it still sets a crazy standard even today. When you compare those maps to GTA 5, they're way smaller on paper, not even close in size. Some of them barely stretch beyond the size of Los Santos itself. But here's the key lesson. Bigger doesn't mean better. It's all about how that space is used. Take Liberty City from GTA 4 as an example. Imagine you're traveling from the top of Algonquin all the way down to Broker, basically crossing the entire map. Sounds simple, right? But here's the catch. There are tons of different routes you can take. Every time you make that trip, you can switch streets, change directions, take shortcuts, and suddenly the journey feels fresh again. The city keeps you engaged, constantly throwing new visuals, new paths, new moments at you. Now look at San Andreas. Let's say you're heading from Los Santos to San Fierro or even Las Venturas. You've got multiple routes, highways, back roads, long scenic drives, quick shortcuts, and every single path feels different. Even better, the distances aren't dragged out, so you're constantly moving, constantly experiencing something new. That variety keeps things exciting and stops the game from feeling repetitive. Now compare that to GTA 5, and this is where things fall apart. One of the most common things you do, especially in GTA Online, is drive from Los Santos to Sandy Shores or Paleto Bay. Sounds normal, right? But when you actually break it down, how many real route options do you have? Maybe 6, if we're being generous. And the worst part, most of those routes eventually merge into the same long, boring highway stretch on the right side of the map. So even though it looks like you have options, you really don't. And that's the problem right there. Back in 2004, San Andreas gave you around 6 distinct ways to reach entirely different cities like San Fierro or Las Venturas. But in GTA 5, years later, with a much bigger map, you're still stuck with roughly the same number of routes just to reach Sandy Shores. It's not evolution, it's limitation. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. But let's take it even further, because this is where the problem really becomes impossible to ignore. Let's say you're trying to head all the way up to Paleto Bay at the top of the map. Sounds simple, right? But here's the issue. All those different roads you thought you had start collapsing into just 2 main highways that stretch all the way up north. And that completely kills the sense of freedom. Because in reality, if you're traveling from Los Santos to Paleto Bay, you're basically stuck choosing between just 2 long routes over and over again. Same roads, same scenery, same experience every single time. And that gets boring fast. fast. And it gets even worse when you realize where these roads actually take you. You're not weaving through crowded streets or discovering new side events like in Liberty City. Nah, you're just driving through empty wilderness. Long stretches of nothing, barely any activity, barely anything changing. It feels dead at times, and that's the exact opposite of what GTA is supposed to feel like. Those long drives don't feel like an adventure, they feel like a chore. Now, yeah, someone might say, why not just fly? Grab a helicopter or a jet and skip the drive. And sure, you can do that. But honestly, that makes it even worse in the long run. Because in the air, there's literally only one way to go. Straight line, point A to point B, no variation, no decisions, nothing to break the routine. It turns travel into something repetitive instead of exciting. At its core, GTA 5's map runs into one major design problem that you can't ignore once you see it. The entire game revolves around one main hub, Los Santos, sitting all the way at the bottom of the map, and everything else just feels like empty space filling the rest of it. There's no balance, no distribution, no reason to explore beyond that one central city. And let's be real for a second. Sandy Shores and Paleto Bay might have their fans, but compared to Los Santos, they feel tiny. Just a handful of streets, a few buildings, not much going on, not much to keep you there. Once you've seen them once, you've basically seen everything. So if you've ever caught yourself feeling bored in GTA 5, like everything starts blending together and losing that excitement, this right here is one of the biggest reasons why. But now, let's flip this into something positive, because this is where things start getting interesting again. GTA 6 might actually fix this entire problem, and that's what makes this so exciting. We don't have the full picture yet, we're still waiting on more official reveals. But based on the 2022 leaks and the first trailer, we already have a solid idea of how the map might be structured, and it's looking way more promising. What we're seeing so far feels a lot closer to what made San Andreas so special. Instead of one dominant city, it looks like GTA 6 is building multiple hubs across the map. From what's been mapped out so far, there are already at least 4 different locations confirmed or heavily hinted at, and that changes everything. On the right side, you've got Vice City, and this isn't some small area either. If anything, it looks like it could match or even exceed the size of Los Santos, which is insane to think about. Then over on the left side, there's Port Gellhorn, which seems inspired by places like Tampa or Fort Myers, bringing a completely different vibe into the mix. Already, you've got 2 major areas pulling attention in different directions. And right in between all that, instead of empty, wasted space, we've got the Everglades region. But this time, it's not just dead land. There are actual points of interest scattered around. You've got places like Homestead showing up as smaller towns. And down south, the Gator Keys, which gives off that isolated coastal energy similar to Paleto Bay, but hopefully way more alive this time. And here's where it gets even more interesting. We haven't even seen the northern part of the map yet, but if Rockstar is following real-world Florida geography, there's a strong chance we could get another major city up there, something inspired by Orlando. And if that happens, everything changes. Because now you're not just traveling back and forth from one city, you're moving between multiple hubs, each one pulling you in a different direction. That's exactly what made San Andreas feel so dynamic and replayable. Now imagine this for a second. A full map with Vice City on one side, Port Gellhorn on the other, possibly an Orlando-style city up north, and smaller towns and locations spread across the middle, like Lake Leonardo or other hidden hubs. Suddenly, every trip feels different. Every route has options. Every journey becomes unpredictable again. And just from what we're seeing right now, without even knowing all the roads yet, it already looks like GTA 6 is fixing the biggest flaw GTA 5 had. No more single city domination. There's no more empty space. Just a map that actually feels alive everywhere you go. Once you start adding all of that together, you can already see how this map is shaping up to feel way more like the classic GTA maps, just on a much bigger and more advanced scale. And that's the key right there. Instantly becomes less repetitive, less predictable, and way less boring. Every direction you move in could lead to something different, something unexpected, something worth exploring again and again. That's exactly what GTA has been missing, and it finally looks like Rockstar is stepping back into that winning formula. So over the next few months, as more details start dropping and this mapping project becomes clearer, it's going to be exciting to watch how everything comes together. If they really pull this off the way it's looking right now, GTA 6 could easily fix the biggest flaw GTA 5 ever had and take things to a whole new level. Make sure you stay locked in for more breakdowns, because there's a lot more coming.